Greetings, dear viewer. I look a bit of a shambles because I just woke up again for the second time today, even though it's the afternoon. But despite the disheveled hair and the, well, I'm gonna rewatch this video in the future and be like, oh yeah, that's when I tried to grow a beard for the third time, and well, fingers crossed it works this time. Anyway, all that aside, if you couldn't tell by the wonderful wonky poster and t-shirt, it is my absolute privilege and pleasure to welcome you to the road to Foo Fighters. Yes, at last, the Foo Fighters have come to New Zealand in 2024. A bit of backstory before we begin. I had bought my tickets to Foo Fighters because despite not being like a die-hard fan, again, it's another one of these videos, another one of these bands that I'm going to see where I do enjoy their singles, but haven't gone as into their albums, which we'll touch on shortly. But yeah, when they announced they were coming to New Zealand, as well as going to Wellington, which is where I live, the capital city of New Zealand, where most bands don't go, they just go to Auckland and that's it. But Foo Fighters announced several shows in New Zealand for the end of 2022, and then the tragedy struck the band with drummer Taylor Hawkins passed away unexpectedly, and they cancelled the tour. So that happened, and then, you know, they obviously went through a lot of grieving, and they did that wonderful tribute concert, and then they announced, yeah, they're picking back up their tour again. And when the tickets went on sale for the new dates, they had gone up by like 50%. I'm pretty sure the 2022 tickets were about 130, 150, and the new ones were 240, which, but also Wellington. So this road to isn't like going on a bus, going on a plane, or anything like some of them. It's literally hopping on an e-scooter and scooting like 10 minutes, I think. It might be 12 minutes. To Sky Stadium, my first ever concert at Sky Stadium, aka the Cake Tin. I've been there before as a child to watch rugby games, like All Blacks and Hurricanes mostly. In fact, almost exclusively. But this will be my first concert there. I've been told by my father that it's not a very good venue for concerts because something about the acoustics in the circle, but I don't know. I'll see. I've had friends that have seen Metallica there. My mother's seen Ed Sheeran there. Ugh, Ed Sheeran. But anyway, I'm excited about it. And before we, you know, go on with the exciting stuff that you're here to see, a little bit more about me and my my experiences with the band Foo Fighters. I obviously love their singles, The Pretender, Everlong, and Best of You, and over the years I've gotten into Monkey Wrench, and well, basically I went through a phase in 2019 with my CD collecting where I decided I would go and get the entire Foo Fighters discography, and I listened to them all one by one, and that's when I realised that I didn't really care for Foo Fighters too much. So that's kind of where I am still today. Obviously, I've looked up the set list and I've been listening to the songs over and over again, but just a quick rundown. Listen to their debut album, that's pretty much just Dave Grohl, very grungy, very neat. Is this the Colour and the Shape? Yes, Colour and the Shape. I do actually like this one because you could buy the whole album on Rock Band 4, so that's what I did, and that's why I like a lot of the songs, especially Monkey Wrench. I thought was like an underrated classic, but now I realise it is another one of the favourites from this album, aside from My Hero, obviously. My Hero and Everlong. And then there was this one. What's it called? There Is Nothing Left to Lose, which this is one of the two where I'm surprised, like, I don't remember anything from it, even though they're playing quite a few songs off it. And this one here, one by one, I think they're playing like 3 or 4 songs off this album, and there wasn't a single one that I actually remembered. Of course, now that I've been listening to all the songs I love all my life, and times like these, they are awesome, and I'm looking forward to seeing them live. Then came In Your Honor, a massive double-sided album that a friend of mine named Andre likes, but again, Best of You is the only one that I really know of it, and it's the only one that they are going to play. Skin and Bones, live album, still haven't listened to it, but it's part of the discography. Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace. This is the one. This has got, obviously, The Pretender on it. Are they playing any more of this one? Statues, maybe. Ballad, maybe. Yeah, I think they might play a couple of the set list has changed, obviously, a couple of times. And I know some people are against, like, don't look up the set list, it spoils it for yourself. But I think there's nothing worse than going to a gig, waiting for them to play your favourite song, and then they don't. So, you know, personal choice, and that's my personal choice. I like to, you know, have a peek at the set list beforehand. So yes, that's probably, I reckon, one of their fan favourite albums. And that was about as far as I got at the time. I did keep listening, though. Like, obviously, greatest hits, you know, can't go wrong. Wasting Light was an album, I remember when I was researching, like, their albums and stuff to begin with, it said like this was more of a slow album or like a departure or something. So I can't even remember if I got this far in my like listen through of them all. I'm pretty sure I did, but it didn't mean anything to me. And now they're playing a good chunk of it, like 4 or 5 tracks, and they took off The Teacher from the new album and replaced it with White Limo, and fans were going nuts, like, whoa, they played White Limo in Christchurch, and it was crazy. And a friend of mine, Jason, who's also going to the gig today, he's my co-worker, he said that of, growing up, the only 2 Foo Fighters albums he listened to were greatest hits, and this particular album, and from what I've heard, songs like, especially Walk, and Arlandria, like, these are really good songs. I might actually find myself getting into this album in particular. And then there was, like, not the duds, but Sonic Highways, like, good experiment. I think people generally say the documentary is better than the actual album itself. Concrete and Gold, when I finally got to this in my big listen through of all their albums, I was like, what is this? This sounds like one of the worst produced albums I've ever heard, just in terms of production and just sound. And I had a feeling, it might be like that Metallica album where they I don't know, recorded the drums on the back of a trash can or something. I haven't looked into the making of it, but I'm almost certain that it is one of those, like, not concept albums, but something that they did differently. It was a bit experimental, and that's why it sounds the way it does. But for an uninitiated ear, it sounds rubbish. Like, it sounds like you're listening to an album in mono audio. But they play A Sky is a Neighborhood and La Di Da and a couple of their previous songs, so I've listened to those songs in particular, and yeah, they're not bad. They've grown on me. But the real Foo Fighters albums I've listened to and gotten into the most are the albums released since I started listening to them, and that is Medicine at Midnight, which I love. I really enjoyed this album. Obviously the singles Shame, Shame, Waiting on a War, and No Son of Mine, but also Chasing Birds and Medicine at Midnight. I was hoping they would play a lot more of this, because it's like their second most recently released album, but they're not. They're only going to play No Son of Mine, and I was shocked, because like Waiting on a War is awesome, like one of my favourite Foo Fighters songs, but I guess not. And finally, but here we are, very simple CD case, their most recently released album. Now, if you watched my top 10 albums of 2023 video, you will know that unfortunately, along with like Blur and NF, this album is just one that I never got around to listening to in full. I did, but like didn't properly like invest time into listening to it, and as a result, it didn't make my top 10 because I just didn't listen to it enough. And aside from absolutely loving Rescued, and even Under You, like the 2 pre-release singles, absolutely love Rescued, one of my favourites. But yeah, just an album as a whole, haven't gotten into it. Obviously, in the last couple of weeks, I've listened to the songs that they could potentially play, like The Teacher, and that might just be it. There was another one, but I can't remember what it is, and I don't want to waste your time any more than I already have. But yeah, so that's me and my experience with Foo Fighters. So if you're watching this and I say something that's like, that's not a real fan, now you know why. Because I'm not a die-hard fan. And 2023 was rubbish for me. So this was something that I wasn't looking forward to a lot, especially over the festive season where I lost my brother. And just over the last week or so, like, the reality's kind of set in, like, I get to go to a concert again. And I went from being like, iffy about, I like some of their songs, to I've listened to them a lot more in the last couple of weeks. Now I am really, really, really excited. Now, this is being recorded at, gosh, looking at the time, it's 2:15, Saturday the 27th of January 2024, in the capital city of New Zealand, Wellington. And yes, if you're wondering how I already got the poster and the shirt, well, you may have seen that they actually advertised this really cool idea. It's like, hey, get your merch early, a day in advance, which I thought was a really cool idea. That the merch stands were going to be open for like half a dozen hours on each day before the show, which I thought was a brilliant idea for reasons I'll explain in a second. Unfortunately, the actual experience of doing that didn't go very well, of which I will display now. Here's a clip of me getting back yesterday. I'm glad I didn't actually start the whole Road to video yesterday, otherwise it would have been, a really miserable start. And that's why I wanted to ramble off my experience with the albums and how crappy 2023 was and stuff, so the video didn't start with me being like, but yeah, I was very upset. But it's concert day, so who cares, right? Well, that was a colossal waste of time. Yes, today on First World White People Problems, I'm actually annoyed. It's probably a combination of the lack of sleep and the fact that I've got a stomachache for no reason whatsoever, because, the human body just loves to do that. But why would you advertise, like, hey, come the day before the concert, will be open for 6 hours selling the merch in advance. Like, that is a genius idea for people like that have work on the day of the concert, so they want to get there on like ahead of time and get their merch and stuff, or like people like me that are buying for multiple people. Like, I had people transferring me money, I was going to get their merch for them so they can just show up whenever and already have their stuff good to go. Why would you do all that only to not have enough merch? Like, I got there, and it's like, wow, there is so much more than what they advertised on social media. But then when you go to ask for a size, like, oh, sorry, we've only got this size, that size. Like, what? There were 4 items I was looking at, right? There was the tour shirt for me, which I thankfully did get because they had large and extra large. I went for the extra large just in case, because I want to, you know, put my hands up and party, and no one wants to, you know, see under my shirt. And the tank top is what I was actually considering wearing tomorrow, and they only had 2XL, and then there was a pair of shorts that I saw. I'm like, I love my Red Hot Chili Peppers shorts. You know, I wasn't planning on getting shorts because it wasn't advertised, but when I saw them, I'm like, oh, heck yeah, that's cool. And they were ironically the most affordable thing aside from the beer can holder. So I wanted to get the shorts, and they were like, oh, we've only got a 32. I'm like, okay, well, what's a 32? And they're like, I think it's a large. And I googled it, and it's the smallest size you can get. For some reason, they wouldn't take it out of the package. The poster was cool. I got the poster. But my friend, who wanted to get a size small of a different shirt, they only had the large for. And when I say they only have, I don't mean like they had large and above or small and below. Like, I mean they only had the one size. Like, and they said, when I got there was only one regular poster left because there was a cool poster or like $150 of the same poster, but it's foil, so it's all shiny. I'm like, I don't need that. I just need the poster because it looks awesome. And they said, oh, no, this is the last one. And I was like, well, can I just look at the shirts first? Like, if you want it, you have to buy it now. I'm like, okay, sure, I was going to, but, like, could just leave it off to the side for me. Whatever, I'm rambling at this point. But the fact is, why would you advertise, like, something like that, only to not have it? And the thing was, they said, I asked, will there be more tomorrow? And they said, oh, definitely. We've got more boxes and stuff. You know, we just have to go get them. I'm like, why don't you go get them? There's people here. Like, it was not like busy, but there was constantly people there. Like, from the time I got there and spent ages trying to muck around with a stupid beam scooter parking, and by the time I left, when the poster decided to blow away, so I'm running down this long ass bit of concrete like an idiot chasing after this poster that's rolling away, there were always people coming and going, and so all those people are going to show up and leave. And I was wondering, why are they hanging around for so long? Well, now you know, they weren't looking at the options. They were just like, why don't they have the sizes? Well, what can we get, what can't we get? And apparently tomorrow there's going to be 5 merch stands. They're all selling the same stuff, but there's going to be 5, so it was an entire waste of time. And like I said, it's probably a combination of the fact that I'm tired and have a stomachache, but my goodness, that was really a waste of time and money on the stupid beam scooter. I was going to walk, but just too hot. It's too hot. It's just... Alright, there's my rant over. And with all that out of the way, honestly, yeah, I am still annoyed, but, you know, once today is over with, you know, when I think back on Foo Fighters, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, remember that annoying thing the day before? Not like the Kendrick Lamar concert where the people actually outright lied at the early merch thing, but whatever. I'm just going to remember how fun it was, because I get to go with a couple of my friends. Like, co-worker friends, but still friends, which I think is neat, because like, quite often I end up being by myself at concerts, but this time, I'm not. So we've got the cool poster, the cool shirt, with tour dates on the back that I'll show later. But yeah. It's 2:20 now. I need to get going because the doors open at 5 and I like to be early enough to get close to the front. Oh my goodness, it is far too hot to exist. I've got the shirt on now, and it's a thick shirt too. I'm glad I got one size up. I got an extra large just for the length, because oh my gosh, it'd be too tight and too hot. It's too hot because it was nice and raining this morning, and now it's all gross and sunny. Yeah, I'm a wet weather person, and what? Anyways, gonna go grab a scooter and scoot my way to Sky Stadium. It's a couple of minutes before 3 o'clock, so I'm gonna get there probably about 1:15. It's good, a couple hours early. That'll be right, so I can line up, get close-ish to the front, and hopefully get some good footage. Yo! Such poor signage. Technically we go in there, but everyone's running all the way around. Don't run, people, there's no point. Look at all the space we got. This is cool. I've never been on the field before. Like I said, I've only been here for rugby games.
Bird. No son of mine will ever need to have the power. Foo Fighters? You do? You want to hear a Foo Fighters song? Well, then this is for you. It's called Monkey Wrench. Sounds like that. For coming out to the Foo Fighters show. Thank you very much. All the people who have never seen the Foo Fighters before, thanks for coming out to the rock show. I hope we see you for the next 30 years.
Okay, it is 11:15 p.m. I just got home. I took an e-scooter because, man, those things are fun. Oh, my face is already a little bit red, especially that side. Oh, no. Well, that's a sign of things to come, I suppose. I'm going to jump in the shower, have a nice long shower. I'm very sweaty, obviously, after a concert. Then I'm going to chuck a microwave meal in the microwave, have that, and hopefully be in bed by 1 a.m. Yeah, so I'll talk more in the morning when I'm probably redder than a beetroot. Because, my goodness, I got very sunburnt. Oh dear. Well, I'll see the state of that in the morning. In the meantime, that was freaking awesome. That was cool. It was made better because I actually got to go to a concert with a friend as well. So often, as I said, I'm alone at a concert. But I actually got to go with another person for a change, which was neat. Anyway, see you in the morning. Also, before I forget, this is the back of the shirt. As you can see, it's not legible. Like, you can't really read the tour dates on it. Like, there's Wellington there upside down, but whatever. And also I got this sick, like, sweat wristband sort of thing. Sweatband, wristband, whatever you want to call it. It actually fits. My goodness, I'm red. I'm going to be very sunburnt in the morning. But, thankfully, not as red as I thought. Yes, that's the old family genes kicking in, where I tend to tan more than I burn, but it doesn't stop the old neck and shoulders from stinging a bit. But anyway, this isn't the road to sunburn. This is the road to Foo Fighters. And Foo Fighters were incredible. Dave and the band, they put on an epic show. One thing that I'll have to note, not necessarily negative, but it is something that I did notice more in this concert than most other ones I've been, is that they really do have a habit of doing the stopping and starting of songs. Like, a 3-minute song will last them 7 minutes, for example, because they'll play a bit and then they'll stop, have a bit of banter, or let the audience sing and then pick back up, and they did that quite a lot. So, again, not a good or bad thing, it's just something that I noticed, but aside from that, like, man, the sound was great, like, the bands were on fire, it was just a really, really great time. Something I found interesting after the show was that, well, going into it, I knew that 2 of my friends and co-workers were going. There was Jason, who showed up a bit late, and he was down the back, and then there was my good work friend, Ava. Shout out to Ava. We lined up nice and early and, got pretty much not quite to the barricade, but we're like 1 or 2 people back. And again, thank you very much to the people behind me that, let my friend stand next to me, because, they're 5 foot tall, so it's not like you're blocking anyone's view, but it was still very nice of them to let my friend go there. To be fair, they were probably like thankful that I actually asked, whereas, you know, most people push to the front. But anyway, the point that I was trying to make was that it was really cool after the gig, looking on Instagram and seeing that there were so many people that were at Foo Fighters that I didn't know. My good friend Taylor from Holloway, that was in the Road to the Killers Part 2 and all those videos and stuff. He was there. A member of Shawboy was there. Someone from a production company that I follow was there. It was just kind of cool. But they were all like seated. So yeah, I honestly, I'm happy that I stood. There are some concerts where I'm like, oh gosh, I regret standing because my feet are absolutely killing me. This was actually one of the few ones where, like, it wasn't until the very end where my feet started to kill me, because I think lining up early, you know, I could have a lie down or, you know, just sit down on the concrete sort of thing. This might be the most random statement ever, but like the concrete outside of Sky Stadium's a lot cleaner than the one at Spark Arena up in Auckland. So that's a fun fact for you. But as I predicted, the whole debacle with the early merch thing on Friday, far from my mind now. I mean, I've already like spent most of today editing the video, so I'm going to keep that little rant in there just for the sake of it. But yeah, like, I don't even care about it now because I got to see them and it was really awesome. And yeah, just a really solid concert. And I'm going to keep listening to Foo Fighters. This is going to help me get into them. There's so many bands that I kind of like, and then I see them live, and then I'm like, yeah, I really get into them. Like Wolf Alice and 21 Pilots and stuff. I want to say Red Hot Chili Peppers, but like, no, there's already plenty of albums I was really into. But now I'm definitely going to give Wasting Light, or whatever it's called, a second chance, and listen to the latest album. And then I'll probably end up falling in love with it and regretting not putting it on my top 10 albums of 2023. But that's life. I'm trying to think of other things I normally talk about. It's been so long since I've been to a big concert. But of course, the crowd. This is probably one of the better crowds I've been to. I haven't been to many stadium shows, I'm pretty sure. Or not, sorry, when I say stadium, I mean like outdoor stadium shows. Like obviously Spark Arena in Auckland, you know, it's always inside, and TSB down in Wellington. But I think I was Western Springs and I can't remember the other one, but for My Chemical Romance and Red Hot Chili Peppers. But this is, like I said, my first time going to a concert in the Cake Tin, Sky Stadium in Wellington. And yeah, there were a lot of old people there, or at least where we were standing. And that was awesome. That was cool, because, you know, old people are going to be a lot more chill, hopefully. But in this case, yeah, they were. There was like this older woman right at the front, and I think she had a gift or something that she wanted to throw, you know, up on stage, but I don't think she did. But anyway, the point was, it was very chill. There was only like one like proper icky person who right at the very start, they'd clearly, you know, they were doing the old showing up late and then wait for the main act to start to push up to the front. And I just held my ground, because in front of me is like my 5 foot tall friends, and then a mother and her son, and that's the barricade. That's it. That was all there was. And there was this old lady on my right-hand side who beforehand was like, we gotta hold the line, stop people from pushing the front. And then there was a dad on my left-hand side who did technically kind of push in, but he was a father of a son, so that, you know, it kind of works. So it was just us three stopping this person, and we're talking like full-on obnoxious, like, yeah, I'm pushing my way to the front, like just grinding up against me, putting both his hands like over my shoulders so I could just see his hands like this, like blah, blah, blah. I think maybe someone behind me might have said something to him, because after that first song, didn't try it again. He was behind me the whole time, but like didn't, you know, he stopped being a twat basically, which is good. It's good. And I know I just went on another little tangent there, but when you've been to enough concerts like I have, and you've seen just the crowds, the different crowds you can get, and how they can ruin a show, like at Fall Out Boy and Arctic Monkeys, or they can enhance a show, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and in this case, Foo Fighters. It was very, very fun. I'm pretty sure that's all I have to say. No doubt I'll think of things, oh, I should have said that. But anyway, thank you to like the staff that were there for handing out water like all the time. They were cool. The security, they were like doing their job. It was cool. I didn't see anyone pass out this time, which is a shock considering how dang hot it was. But when the sun finally went down and you could see the stage lights go up, it was incredible. Oh yes, I think us or Auckland might have had the best show, because they did 3 in New Zealand. They did Auckland first, where they had Jack Black show up on stage for their AC/DC cover. Then in Christchurch, sorry, they replaced Under You with White Limo, which I prefer Under You because it's one of their new songs, but apparently that's like a fan favourite, White Limo, as I said earlier in the video, and then they played it tonight. They kind of did like a slightly different set list each night. So tonight they didn't do the AC/DC cover and they didn't do Under You, but they did play The Teacher at the end, which is like that 10-minute epic, which again, they made last 12 minutes for the encore, and it was just incredible. And yeah, I think that's probably it. yeah, thanks to the medical team, the security team, the band, the roadies. It takes a lot of people to put on a concert, and it just takes one or two people to ruin it. And thankfully, this one wasn't ruined for me and for the people around me. And shout out to my friend's dad as well. You know, doing the water runs, getting the fries. What a good time. What a good concert. Had a lot of fun. Right, I actually forgot. I thought this was like my one and only concert for the year, but of course, in just under 2 months, another big one, a personal favourite of mine. So I thank you very much for watching this video. Be sure to tune in at the start of March for the road to Blink-182 on the One More Time tour. I cannot wait. The amount of times I thought it wouldn't happen, but it looks like it's actually happening. Blink-182 are coming here, and I couldn't be more excited. Thank you very much for watching. See you then.
Bird.